This is candy corn, and she's about a 6-year-old corn snake, and she's been with me almost a year, and I wanted to show how much she's progressed since the beginning of me attempting to target train her until now, when, since TC was out this week, I substituted her with the puzzle homework, and she amazed me. This was several months ago. The only way that I could feed her was to set a rodent on a plate in her enclosure and leave the room. And I set up a surveillance camera, and this is sped up, and I cut most of it out because this whole process from the time I set the rodent on the plate, left the room, and came back and found the empty plate is well over an hour. And this snake hides all the time. And I've been working diligently with her, trying to build her confidence and get her to come out in my presence. And so after several months of feeding her this way, she finally started to stick her nose out from hiding when I would come into the room. And that was a huge step for her. And so in this next segment, you're going to see several months down the road where I'm now able to feed her on the plate while I have it attached to a target, and I'm in the room with her. So again, months and months have gone by, and I have fed her just on a plate, leaving her alone with it in the room, and then coming back for it later, to get to this point where when I noticed her starting to stick her head out from hiding when I would be in the room, I then started putting the rodent on the plate attached to a target. And you will see that she's hesitant to come out at first, and then how quickly, when she does grab the rodent, that she snatches it off the plate and disappears. But this was a huge step. So the next step, and you're going to miss it if you blink, is now I'm just targeting her, giving her the rodent off tongs, and she disappears. So TC had already eaten this week, had already had some really novel activities that he did, and I felt like the homework was going to be too much for him with a full belly and having already had some vast new experiences. So I substituted candy corn for homework number 2 instead of TC, the reticulated python. And this is candy corn engaging with this puzzle box with me in the room. And this is sped up. This particular segment is sped up 2 times normal speed. But I'm in the room right next to her, and she is engaging with this puzzle box in this manner. And it's just amazing. She goes in the puzzle box. She explores around the outside of it first, then she goes into the box. She finds the rat fuzzy. She eats it inside the puzzle box, and then she hangs around for a few minutes longer inside and then milling around the outside of the puzzle box before she goes back into her hiding spot. And I am literally filming this in person. I did not set this up on a tripod and leave the room. I'm standing right here filming it, and she is out in my presence, actively engaged in this puzzle. And so I'm so glad that I tried this with her. And even though she isn't one of my normal homework snakes, I felt that this was super important to share because this was a huge behavior difference in her. And so since I've seen her engage with the puzzle box this way in such a positive manner, I am absolutely going to start feeding her this way in the future. I think I'm going to put the target training that I've been doing with her on hold. Not that I don't think that was beneficial. I think that feeding her on the plate and then attaching the plate to a target stick and feeding her in my presence and then getting her to target the plate briefly and take the food off tongs was all beneficial. But I didn't get anywhere near the results that I'm getting with this puzzle box as far as building her confidence and being willing to be out in my presence while I am right there next to her in the room. And if you can't tell, I'm just really amazed by her behavior here. And I am absolutely going to feed her this way again. And if I get similar results, I am then going to introduce different puzzles and see what other behaviors that I can get from her. Again, her name is Candy Corn. She's a corn snake. She's about 6 years old. She was relinquished to our animal sanctuary by someone who could no longer keep her, so I'm not sure of her exact age. Pantherophis guttatus is the scientific name for corn snake, and I believe she's what they call a creamsicle morph, but I'm not a huge colubrid person, so this was actually a corn snake relinquished with one other from the same person, and they're the first corn snakes I've had experience with, but I like them. Again, look how long she stays out and actively engaged with this puzzle even after consuming the prey item. And I sped this video up 2 times so that we didn't spend too much time on it. So in reality, she's out in the open exploring this puzzle box with me right next to her, twice as long as what it seems like watching this video. Now, the other videos in the beginning, I did not speed up. I did not speed up the one where she snatched it off the target, and I didn't speed up the one where she snatched it off the tongs. Those were real time, but these other ones are sped up just in the essence of not us spending too much time watching it. But I'm just so thrilled and excited about this behavior, and I thought it was beneficial for everybody to hear her history and see the extreme behavior change that this puzzle has caused in her.